Hi instructors, my name is Kathleen Shaw, and in this video I want to provide an overview of the Unit 1 Instructor Guide. So in Unit 1, you're going to be introducing students to the first readings, so they're going to get a chance to kind of look into the theme that you've ideally chosen for them to work with throughout the semester. And it's also going to be a chance for them to do some critical thinking, to practice some reading strategies, and to start with the writing process. If you've been seeing reading 1, reading 2, if you've been seeing those things around and wondering where they come from, those are going to be coming from the course readings that we'll look at in a moment. For the instructor guide, one of the things that we have here for you is this procedure section where each week is broken down by the things the students will be accomplishing. One of the things that is a helpful resource in here is the video that is the Changing the Assignment Submission Type video. In week 3, they're going to be working on a Unit 1 progress check, and there's a couple different options, and you can select one for your students to choose in order to check in with you and receive feedback on the progress check. And if you need to change the assignment submission type based on that, this video here is a helpful resource showing how to do so. So for the course readings, in that section, the students are going to see this and they're going to have a breakdown of the different readings that they're going to be working with throughout the semester. So you can see in Unit 1, you're going to select a reading and assign it to them. In Units 2 and 3, you will be selecting an assignment for reading 2 or an article for reading 2 and assigning that. And then they're going to locate an article that relates to that on their own from the library databases to use in their summary response Unit 3 paper. In Unit 4, they're going to have the same sort of situation. You're going to assign a primary text for reading 4, and then they're going to find a supplemental reading 5 on their own that relates to the topic that they'll incorporate into their final critical evaluation. There's a helpful guide here on how to go through and look at the course readings and set them up and to create kind of a theme for students to look at throughout the semester. Another thing that's a helpful resource here is that there is a sample. So for Unit 1, based on this sample text, there is an example for students to look at for every single one of the assignments they need to complete in Unit 1. There's also an optional resource for you that shows one way that you could break down the units by having a central question in each unit. So these are some examples of how you might do that if you want to organize by guiding question every unit. The example topics that we have themselves are underneath broken down in alphabetical order. So we have American issues, we have cancel culture, we have critical thinking. That's a nice one to choose if you want to work with the idea of critical thinking with your students throughout the semester. And you can see that there, for each of these particular topics, there's a couple things listed in the folder. So the first is going to be a list of essay prompts that they can use. So these would be the prompts that they would be responding to in their personal essay. And then you have the articles themselves. The articles themselves are primarily from SIRS, and there's a link and also a reference provided for students. When you're selecting these, deciding which of the ones provided, sometimes there's 3, sometimes there's 4, there might be a couple more. When you're deciding which unit to assign them in, one thing to keep in mind up here is that Unit 1 is going to be more of a reflective type of writing because it's dealing with the personal essay. So it's going to need to be something that they can connect with. The second and third units are going to be focusing on creating a summary and response paper at the end. That's probably going to be based more in ideological response. So something that they could agree or disagree with easily would be a good idea for assigning reading 2. For Unit 4, they're going to do a critical evaluation as the summative assignment. So something where they're going to be able to pull it apart more rhetorically and examine what's good, what needs improvement, what part of the argument was successful. That's going to be more of a rhetorical approach. So that will hopefully guide you in which article you want to assign for reading 1, reading 2, and reading 4 from the ones that you have listed here based on the topic that you choose. So once you choose a topic, you can hide the others, and then your students will be able to see these different topics. When we're talking about the learning materials for Unit 1, they're broken down into a couple different categories: reading strategies and instruction, writing process and instruction, and critical thinking. So they have a couple different resources there. For the Unit 1 assignments and submissions, the first assignment is going to be an annotating assignment where they're expected to do an annotation on reading 1 that you selected for them. Then they're going to create an outline for their personal essay, again, based on one of the prompts, or if they are selecting their own prompts from that list, based on the prompts that are available in the reading folders. The Unit 1 progress check, that's where they're going to be able to select one of the options that we have here. So whichever option you would prefer to do with them, let them know. And that's where it may come into play, where you may want to change the submission type that we have mentioned the resource for in the instructor guide. And then the last thing that they'll be doing, second to last actually, is they're going to be doing they're going to be doing the progress check after they've written the outline. And then the last thing that they'll be doing is the personal essay, which is going to focus on answering a prompt from the prompt options based on the theme that you chose for them. So those are some resources to help you out. If you have any questions, as always, you can reach out to your course leads or department chairs.